Hello from the Sunshine States. We're sorry that we've been quiet for a while, but it is for good reason. We've been waiting to share some incredible news with you. And we just want to say lots of prayers are being answered, and we're so excited to share it that we don't want to wait to do a video series. We're just going to do it all in one go. So this is going to be very long. We're sorry, but you can skip to a timestamp, so you can skip to the news that you want to hear.
If you haven't heard, our family is on medical leave from the mission field, and we are staying in Melbourne, Florida, USA. Jubilee was diagnosed with autism in Thailand, and it was recommended that we return to the States to seek further therapy. Honestly, we did not want to leave Thailand. We kicked and screamed. We knew that in the States, the wait for Jubilee to get help could be several months to a year. And Jubilee was already thriving with her therapies and school in Thailand. I only had a tourist visa, so I couldn't stay longer in the US more than 6 months. And Ingrid would be the only one to legally work, and she's blind. And we know that we are called to cross-cultural missions, and we didn't want to leave the mission field.
But no matter how much we kicked and screamed, we're here. And indeed, it has been a very difficult transition. We're very thankful Melbourne Church of the Nazarene opened up their parsonage for us to stay in exchange that we be their associate pastors. And so we thank you, Pastor Joel and Pastor Pam Tooley and the Melbourne congregation, for your incredible patience and support for us during this very difficult transition.
So, the first important news is Lukas is 2 years old.
Yay!
Also, there was this rumor going around that Lukas was going to be a big brother. Well, you are wrong.
Yeah, this belly is not from a baby, it's from Chick-fil-A. Now, let's talk about Terence. His visa process. So he came to the States on a tourist visa, and we needed him to transition into a permanent resident. One of the most enormous stresses has been doing this legally, as legal as possible, and that costs a lot of money, and money that we do not have.
Thankfully, an anonymous person or couple, I don't know, donated for the immigration fees. And others have donated to help us hire an immigration lawyer to navigate us on this road. Thank you to the Baum family for the recommendation of a great lawyer. After several attempts, the lawyer said we were finally ready, and she sent over all the hundreds of pages of documents and forms to US immigration. So the first big hurdle is over. There will be more to go, but for now we wait, and waiting the next step could take a few weeks to a few months.
So meanwhile, Terence cannot work on a tourist visa, and he can't work until he gets a proper paperwork, and that has been very hard for him. But Terence has had opportunities to volunteer his services to several places. We went to Southern Florida to record videos. We did videos and photography for the Florida District Assembly. Terence recently just came back from Northern California to help with their district assembly, and we still have more opportunities to volunteer in Nashville and I think back in Southern Florida. So this immigration path is still a very long road ahead, and we still would appreciate your prayers.
So here is probably our longest update. So before we left, Ingrid was trying to sign Jubilee up for therapy so that we don't have to wait so long when we arrived. But without proof of insurance or proof of residence, we couldn't hold a place for her in line anywhere. So the week we arrived, Ingrid walked into a Medicaid office and signed up. For our non-American viewers, Medicaid is a US government program that provides health insurance for adults and children with limited income and resources.
One of the reasons we moved to Melbourne specifically was because of something called the Scott Center. And I don't know if you've heard of the Scott Center, but it is the leading or one of the leading centers for autism therapy in the United States. And it just so happens to be just across the street from the church and where we live. Not only does the Scott Center provide therapies, but they also provide resources and recommendations on where your child might thrive.
So the first week we arrived to the States, Ingrid walked to the Scott Center and gave our story of how we had just relocated from Thailand and have no idea how to navigate the American medical system and autism. The cost to be evaluated by the Scott Center would be $1,200, and they didn't accept government health care. But they gave Ingrid places to go, people to call, and invited her to a Facebook group of special needs caretakers and workers in the area.
So from there, I asked the special needs community here in Brevard County for recommendations for school, for Jubilee. And they gave me a whole list, and I contacted every single one, and most did not respond. And those that did said they were completely full or they were not accepting new students. Except for one school. One school did contact us back. That was Space Coast Discovery. They said they wouldn't be able to accept her until the next semester, but we could still come in for a tour. And the school is an inclusive school. It serves children with and without special needs. Everything is accessible. Even the playground equipment can be with a wheelchair. There are quiet rooms for meltdowns. There's a room specifically for occupational therapy. And while we were on the tour, we got to speak with the headmistress. We told her our story. And when we told her that we were now working at Melbourne Church, she said, "Oh, no way, I used to go there. I used to be a Nazarene." Right. So she said that Jubilee could probably start at the end of May or the beginning of June.
When May came, we haven't heard anything. So Ingrid called, and the front desk said that there were 0 spots available still for Jubilee. And we were heartbroken. So the front desk said that they would make sure and get back to us. A few hours later, we got an email saying that the headmistress has saved a spot for Jubilee and she could start on May 30th, the end of this month.
But wait, the school is super expensive. All students are on a scholarship, a government-funded scholarship, and that government scholarship was not accepting new applicants at that time. And so I signed up to be on the waiting list back when I first came in February and heard nothing back. Even when they said, "Oh, it's going to open in March," didn't. Even if it was May, still not open. And then one day, while we were doing ministry, I got the email and it said, "Apply now," in big letters. And it was for the scholarship. And so I literally like, "Goodbye, guys. I got to go do this." And so I applied, and now we're just praying that Jubilee will get that scholarship.
Some of you might be thinking, she's only 3 years old. She doesn't need to go to school. And here's the thing. Yes, she does. Jubilee has been in therapy for about a year now, and she made progress, but slow. But when she went to school in Thailand, her progress just skyrocketed so much that her doctors and therapists said that her school was just as important as her therapy. Jubilee learns better with her child peers. So please join us in prayer that we receive this scholarship. I don't know how long the waiting will be. If you want to help her go to school until the scholarship comes, please contact us on how you can do that.
But wait, there's more. Yes, there's more. Because of that group that the Scott Center introduced to me, I just asked, "Hey, where I can go for speech therapy?" And a speech therapist contacted me back and came to our house and guided us exactly of what to do, who to call, and what to say. Medicaid wasn't good enough. We would need a special kind of Medicaid, a new primary care physician, and referrals. Now, you Americans probably already know this. I didn't, okay? I've never lived as an adult in the United States, and the US healthcare insurance system is completely foreign to me. I didn't know that you need to go see a primary care to get a referral to go to a specialist. I didn't know that. In Asia, you just go to the specialist's office and just make an appointment. It's just easy. Very rarely would you need a referral, probably like in cases like cancer or something, but yeah.
Miss Shelley had an opening slot for herself, so she recommended we go to the doctor and get a referral for the company she works with. She also had a friend in occupational therapy who knew someone with an open slot, and we got a referral for that company too. Instead of waiting several months, Miss Shelley helped us find the holes so we can squeeze inside.
Yeah.
Jubilee had her speech evaluation on Monday and an occupational evaluation on Friday. After the evaluation, Miss Shelley said that Jubilee was so smart and that the Thai therapists were right. She's lacking receptive language, the concept of communication. Her vocabulary and pronunciation were great for her age, just the whole concept of communication was needing therapy. But Miss Shelley believes that within 6 months of therapy, Jubilee's voice would be unlocked.
Jubilee also got evaluated in occupational therapy, and we got to meet her therapist, Miss Jamie. And Jubilee did way better than we expected. That she sat the entire time doing her best in all of the games, and they didn't tell us what the evaluation meant, but they were very positive with Jubilee's growth. And Miss Jamie is awesome, and she will be able to accompany Jubilee to school and do her therapies there. So we're starting therapy.
Woo! But wait, there's more. Yes, there's more. We told you this part would be long. Our primary care physician also recommended that Jubilee to be evaluated by American standards. Insurance may not accept a Thai evaluation, so we were recommended to get Jubilee evaluated again. The appointment would be in May 2024, 1 year from now. And we would have to drive an hour and a half to get to that evaluation place.
Honestly, when we heard this news, I was just like, okay, whatever. It is what it is. We just have to pray that people will accept the Thai documentation in the meantime. And then one day, I got a call, and it was the Scott Center wanting to check up on us, see how we were doing. And they said, hey, somebody donated to the Scott Center enough money for a scholarship for one student to be evaluated. And everyone in the office knew exactly who we wanted to call. You guys.
I don't know why, out of all the families, they chose us. But we are thankful. Thank you, Scott Center. We will have the pre-evaluation meeting with the doctor on Thursday. This Thursday. I don't know when the re-evaluation will be, but the evaluation from the Scott Center is like getting Willy Wonka's golden ticket. And so we are very thankful and humbled. Thank you everyone who has been praying for Jubilee and helping her in this part of her journey.
As for me, I had great difficulty finding a job. So many people tried to help me. Thank you for that. But I just wasn't qualified or was too qualified. Turns out getting a master's in Old Testament Biblical Studies gives you very limited job opportunities. I applied from being a professor to a barista, from being an assistant at a college to a librarian, just denied. I think I could publish a book with all of the rejection letters I received. And as an amateur graphic designer, commission would not be a stable enough salary for me to sponsor Terence's visa process. So I pretty much just cried myself to sleep almost every night because of how much of a failure I felt.
And then one night, a lovely couple came to our house and over dinner, and they heard our family's story and the whole truth of how we came to Melbourne. And they wanted to help. While they were on a cruise, they applied and started a new business just for the sole purpose of hiring Ingrid. You guys know who that is?
My parents! My parents were that lovely couple that took their vacation and created a business, Kuiper Media, and they hired me as a children's book author. I had taken a class last year on making children's books for unreached people groups, and I just loved it. I had so many ideas and so many drawings and scripts just ready to come out of me, but not really for unreached people groups, but for Filipino children. Because when I was pregnant with Jubilee, I looked everywhere to find children's books in Hiligaynon, or Ilonggo, Terence's language. I ended up having to just get English books and giving Terence a marker and told him to translate them, just so that our children could have reading materials in Terence's heart language. And it really broke my heart to know how little resources Filipino children had to books in their own languages. In my time in the Philippines, I never saw public libraries, and most local school libraries either were non-existent or were outdated or completely neglected.
When we met several Filipino Americans who couldn't really speak the languages because they had no resources growing up in the States. How many other Filipino children are growing up overseas and losing their language or dialects? So, Ingrid had been writing stories and having me translate them. When her parents heard about her desire, they said, "You just need a sponsor, and we will sponsor your book writing."
So my goal is to write stories that will help Filipino children read and enjoy stories in their heart language. Even if you aren't Filipino, stories can be read by anyone. So yes, I am officially an author. Yay! My first book is already published and ready to be purchased and read. And it's called If There Was No Storm. Available now on Amazon and Kindle. This book is already available in English, Tagalog, and Hiligaynon. We are currently working on Ilocano and Waray, and we are still looking for translators in the Bicol and Visayan Cebuano dialects. So if you know someone, please contact us, or if you are fluent in another Filipino dialect that was not listed, contact us too. I hope you enjoy it and buy a copy for yourself, for the children you love in your life, or even if you work with a Filipino, no matter the age, ask them what language or dialect they speak and give them a copy in their heart language. I'm currently working on book number 2, and hopefully that will be made available to you maybe next month.
And just remember that if you purchase this book, you are supporting our family and helping us navigate this journey here in the United States. So, that concludes our super long, ultra mega ultimate update for you. I hope it was worth the wait, mostly because we have had to wait several months for things to move. We also want to let you all know that we are coming to the General Assembly.
Yay!
And we want to see you. We want to meet you. We want to catch up with you. Contact us. Let's schedule something, please.
Yeah.
And everyone, thank you for your patience with us. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your prayers. We love you all. God bless you, and we can't wait to see what the Lord is going to do.